So we guys are omnipresent in the order cycle from the beginning to the end, right? And if things go wrong, we get the blame. Just want to tell you a few stories that how make or break potential this particular function has. Error. I mean, a merchandiser at the beginning of a costing season is expected to populate 100 to 150 cost sheets. Am I right or wrong? Right? And to make a simple, point error is human indeed. Right? But wait a minute. See the implication. I came across a cost sheet where instead of 0.59, the merchandiser had typed 0.059 for the cost of a order turned out to be, out of all the development styles that he had costed, to be a 50,000 piece order. That's like 27,000 US dollar left on the table. And this is the story of 85 on 101. From the day when the designer visits the design fair for trends, till the time that goods are shipped out of the shop floor, if there are 101 steps involved, there are 85 steps in which a merchandiser is involved in some way or the other. How many of you believe that this is the truth? Yes or no? Now, if we don't have the capability to make an impact, then who has? If we are not going to look for creating a differentiating edge in this kind of a function, then where else to look for? This is the story of a good factory and a bad factory, right? Talk to a buying office person and two different people in that company might give you diametrically opposite view of a particular factory that was handling the order, created that difference of perception in the mind of the customer. That is the kind of impact you guys can have. Lost order. This is another anecdote which I like to quote, simply because on one of the tags that was sent from our development samples and that the buyer loved, they wanted to use it as the possible product upgrade for their next year's core offering order. Simply because on the development swatch that the buyer loved so much and they wanted to use it, didn't have proper information on the tag. It didn't have complete, it just had some reference number scratched in an illegible fashion, and we went to the factory to find out ye kahan se aaya kapda. And similar swatch, a cutting from our swatch, was sent to SQL, who delivered in no time and got that order. Let's face it. Let's just face it and accept it that it's a buyer's market. You may say buyer is unreasonable, they're not understanding this and that. They have a choice to go to another supplier, and that's the reality we cannot run away from. Merchandising, I believe, is an opportunity to create a differentiating edge because you are the people interfacing with the customer from beginning to end. And certain factors like price, quality, delivery, all these are now given. They are just, they can't be the differentiating edges. The differentiating edge comes from how a customer feels about you, what his perception is about, are you good to work with, what is the ease of business, do you deliver, how reliable are you service oriented, do you understand their problems, do you know their challenges? That is what will come from you guys, right? What is needed of you guys today is a paradigm shift in terms of how you view your role. You have to change the way you view your job from being a mere merchant, simply completing a list of tasks that you draw every day in your diary, to that of a smart project manager, managing and accomplishing projects in a multi-style environment within limited time frame and resources. There is only one Master G available for so many departments, right? Limited resources. That is the way you need to view your job. In firefighting. 100 How many of you agree that they are the best crisis managers? Merchandisers are the best crisis managers. You want to look for best crisis managers? Look in this room. You will find them. But my contention today is, and has always been, that you are not James Bond 007 if you can do firefighting. No. You are James Bond 007 if you can prevent a fire. Those are the skills you need to focus on. And typically that doesn't happen because 80% of the time we are too busy firefighting to even think back and reflect. Every day there are fires to fight. Who has the time to think back and reflect on how to prevent the fire? Right? Control. Or a victim of the situation. Fabric nahi aaya. Oh, master ji kaam karke nahi de rahe hain. That department is so inefficient. They are not delivering. What is the point of me creating a TNA when nobody understands the TNA in the other departments? Then you are letting the circumstances control you. How quickly we say, no? The fabric guys are not delivering. Masterji is not, sampling department is so inefficient. They never deliver our samples on time. Quick to blame. Very quick to blame. And when we are quick to blame, we put the responsibility outside of us to some external source, which means we allow that external source to control us. We have to change that paradigm. And believe me, you don't need to be the CEO alone to take charge of a situation that has been given in your hand to handle. You just have to take charge of the situation. There is no magic. There is no magic which will turn you into smart project managers overnight. It's actually a discipline which people spend 5 years to master. To become a certified PMP, you have to slog for 5 years, then you know the tricks. And I don't claim to be a certified PMP myself, or a certified project manager, professional myself, no. Because it's a huge science, it's a huge discipline, and a lot of industries use the basics, use those project management skills. You go to construction industry, you go to IT industry, any other industry which is rising and shining today, they use these tools and techniques which have been available for ages. 60 years ago, 70 years ago, somebody wrote a book on, theory of constraints or project management skills. So it's not new. They are basically commonsensical things to do when you launch on any project or anything that you do, even at home. Managing home, now I'm learning, now that I'm at home these days, is a project in itself. And it needs similar skills, similar project management skills. And we don't need to go into fancy software of, ERP package or anything. No, first we have to figure out the basics. First we have to know the basics. So what is really a work breakdown structure? In simple terms, intuitively all of you guys already do it. But if you knew a way, a methodical and scientific way, and if you did it consciously, then it can make a huge difference. Work breakdown structure is nothing but listing down of the 1,000 activities that needs to be accomplished before you will call your project complete. And in your case, the project that you handle is each PO, each purchase order, each style purchase order that comes to you. It's a project. You have to do these 1,000 activities. You have to place the trim order, you have to place the fabric order, there has to be a lab dip approval, there has to be color, quality, size approval, first of bulk, whatever, you know the list, right? And the trick here is that when you prepare this list, it has to be 100%. There should not be even 0.001 activity missing when you list down the activities that are needed to be done. 0.001 is where the surprises are hiding for you, waiting to face you without letting you know. That carton sticker which you think of at the last minute suddenly springs up as a surprise. Really spend quality time when we receive a purchase order to really list down the 1,000 things that we need to do. We prepare a TNA for the sake of the buyer. Buyer ने मांगा यार TNA 3 दिन में भेजना है किसी तरह, एक बना बनाया फॉर्मेट भेज दिया, कुछ डेट्स डाले उसमें और भेज दिया. That is not TNA management. No. You really actually have to learn. That's your job. That's what the company is paying you for, and they have entrusted you with a huge responsibility. They have actually entrusted you with their business. Coming to critical path management. How many of you actually use this term critical path in your lingo already? We use this term very loosely without really knowing the meaning. And that's what critical path management teaches us. It's a science. It's a scientific tool available for ages, and we just need to adopt it and use it effectively. And I'm not going to teach you full thing. I'll just touch upon the basics. There are 3 types of activities: sequential, parallel, and critical. Which ones are the sequential activity? One after the other. When activity B cannot begin till the time activity A is finished. That's a sequential activity, right? Your dyeing cannot begin till the time your lab dip is approved, right? That's a sequential activity. What's a parallel activity? They are not dependent on each other. They can continue parallelly. So when you receive a PO, you can place your trim order, you can start your fit sampling, you can place your fabric development parallelly. They are not interdependent. Agreed? And then what is the critical activity? I'll come to that in my later slide. Think about it. What's critical activity? So what I believe is the most important job that a merchandiser today does is managing, monitoring, and controlling the various deadlines, various activities and the deadlines related to achieving those activities to make the order reach its conclusion. That's the most important job a merchandiser does. The longest path is really the critical path, because that's where not even a day's delay is possible. Even if you delay by 1 day, it is likely to impact your garment delivery. So when you have to prioritize your things to do, this critical path knowledge should help you which tasks to pick up, which to put for later. Because you can't do everything, and one of the biggest complaints I hear from merchants is, ma'am, everything is important. How can you not do this? How can you not do that? No, if everything is important, then nothing is. So this critical path knowledge will help you then to pick, what to drop for the day. So you have mechanisms built in your follow-up system to raise alerts early in the game. Nobody should be able to tell you that, why didn't you tell me at the right time? And what can you do to become more customer-centric? I know customers are eccentric, so you have to become customer-centric. Called Smart Merchants Club. Really a platform for you guys to share the challenges that you face. You may not have the answers to all the problems that you are facing, but when we collectively discuss and share, I'm sure we can figure a way out, right?